Investment, huh?
Yeah, we talking return on investment. Can you believe it? Can you like we've had a crazy day today. We had a tornado. We've had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of rain. Like it's been bananas today, but we survived. So let's talk a little bit about return on investment.
Uh-huh.
But let them know in what capacity though, Mark.
I mean, meeting someone, dating someone, what's the end result that you get out of it, right?
Right, right, right. Like when you think about it, let's be honest. Like I talk to my friends all the time. You know, fraternity brothers, associates, employees. So when you think about return on investment, if someone is let's say at the bar, let's use that for an
Mm-hmm.
example, and you see a very attractive female, and you
Right.
go and buy her a drink, like
What's my motive?
yeah, what's the motive of you approaching someone and offering to buy them a drink? Well, obviously, you want to leverage that drink
Right.
to be your segue
Mm-hmm.
to, at a minimum, get the name and telephone number.
Right.
But let's be honest, because you and I, we went to, I think, Wing Daddy about 2 weeks ago, and we asked a question to the young lady,
That's right.
and she was like these guys are so blunt. It's just like straight to the point. Like I'm gonna buy you a drink, but at the end of the night, the overall goal is to get you back to my place
Mm-hmm.
and into my bed. And it's like the return on investment on a $9 margarita, the end state is that these guys today are looking just to get someone back to their house without even knowing their name, knowing their
Right.
birthday, knowing their favorite color, knowing what they like, what they dislike, the things that make you tick. And then like we wonder like why dating is so bad in today's time. Why it's like a cesspool
Yeah.
because people truly aren't getting to know one another. It's truly a revolving door. It's truly a carousel. Like when we go to the fair and take our kids and you see them horses going round and round and
Right.
round and round.
Right.
That's what it's become. And then so many people now are emotionally fractured and they just because they allow themselves to be put in positions of individuals that don't value them because like honestly if someone is looking to off a $9 margarita go from first base back to home
Yeah.
as if they hit a grand slam and that's being allowed where we're now in a society where like the young lady said that so many people that's what they're doing so that's becoming a trend
Right.
where it's okay like what is your take on that.
I mean, damn, like if it's that easy to do just a $9 margarita and you don't have to really wine and dine anybody, like kind of say you're getting off like cheap if you get that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It
Correct.
makes it easy, right? It makes
Correct.
it super easy to say, hey, you know what? I can just go do this and then that should be it,
Yeah.
right? Like it I don't know, to me I think that it just the door opens from like that small segment to leading you to believe, hey, that's how constantly it'll be with everybody, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
open that door constantly, and it's just like hey, it's just gonna happen off of a $9 margarita, right?
Right. Right.
And but I also think too now, if we flip it around, if women are allowing that to happen, right? And I'm not saying all women do, right? But
Mhm.
if they're allowing that to happen, I feel like they're kind of shortchanging themselves a little bit in
Oh,
that sense, right? Because I mean, you can
absolutely.
I feel like you can get so much more. I don't want to say out of someone, right? But you can get treated so much better, right? If you give someone like time, right? Like it's not a done deal as
Mhm.
soon as you buy that drink, right? It should be
Right.
like, okay, let me take you out again. Let me do this, right? Let me see if this person is worth the value of
Correct.
the effort that you're putting into it,
Correct.
right?
Right.
So, and if that's happening, I mean, it's been like that, right? Since you and I were growing up,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, it's always been, kind of easy in that sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, now it seems like it's even easier,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like the door is just open because maybe COVID, we're all like basically like become like all introverts, right? We,
Right.
we we don't really socialize as much as we do, right? So when
Right.
we do go out and those things happen, it's really quick. But again, like I feel like people are allowing that to happen too quickly, and that's just my opinion. But
Right.
you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like that, right? But I think that I think when you end up dealing with maybe like folks like us, right? If we go do that, I know we put a little more effort behind it,
Oh
right? We
yes, for
sit
sure.
there and take somebody out and allow them to actually feel special, right?
Right.
And go from there,
Right.
right? So
Right. And when people say that's the new trend in society, because I just listen to conversations that you allow someone to really devalue you,
right.
because when you think return on investment, most women, their return on investment is long term. They're looking for a life partner. They want the house. They want the white picket fence.
Mm-hmm.
They want the dogs. They want the whole family unit. Where in most cases, like most guys I talk to that I know, they're just concerned with their overall end game as far as getting the orgasm, and, and,
Mm-hmm.
and, and essentially that's it. Like they're
Right.
not trying to truly settle down, and that's why I tell so many of my family members, friends, associates, like if you think most men at the age of 40, 45, or even younger are trying to be a big brother to you or just a friend, well, you're sadly mistaken.
It's
There's
unheard of.
there's always a end state, whether they're honest or not about what the end state is. There's always an end state that that man wants to, at the end of, whether it's a trip, whether it's dinner. In most cases, the end state is, again, getting the female
Mm-hmm.
in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like any man, I don't understand why people can't be extremely transparent, direct, and forthcoming in their intentions, because it'll really mitigate and eliminate a lot of the wondering, a lot of the pondering, a lot of wasting time. Like, when you're dating versus when you're married, it's a totally different process. Because
Right.
when you're trying to date someone, like most people want to impress, so they're going to do things to impress the other person. And it's like I saw a meme early, like broke men spend money they don't have to impress broke women that don't have anything. So think about that saying. Like you're sitting up here being fooled by what you're seeing on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, the makeup, the
Mm-hmm.
filters, like all of the just things that they can do to their bodies now.
Right.
And it's like you're doing all of this to impress, when in reality, the inside of a lot of these people, like when you get to know them, it's not even worth the effort.
Yeah.
Like when you really peel back the onion and
Yeah.
start trying to figure out what it is that that person's trying to accomplish, while you sitting up here running your game, they're running game too. Because
Right.
like both parties, if the person accepts the drink, a lot of time it's like they want to see, okay, where is this going to go? Because
Right.
I'm not going to necessarily say there's an agenda, but
Mm-hmm.
there's curiosity.
Yeah. Of course.
But
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, the aggressor has an agenda, because in most cases they're not just doing that just because, like, they're a good Samaritan or just paying it forward. There's always an underlying reason
Yeah.
of why they're doing it. So when I hear it all the time, and I try to tell my sister, and I tell my friends, like, look, no man is just out of the kindness of their heart gonna buy you
No
a
grown
drink.
man.
No, exactly. No grown man, or
Yeah.
treat you on a trip, or buy you a Louis Vuitton. Like there's something tied to that.
Right.
So if you don't understand that, that's why you keep attracting the type of men that you don't want. That's not going to give you the long term satisfaction of the security of a relationship,
Yep.
because you've divided yourself and allowed them to divide you,
Right.
and not fulfill what you truly want. So when you keep doing the same repetitive cycle, you're gonna keep getting the same results.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of reminds me of a situation. I have a close friend. She basically went on a trip with this guy to Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And she swore up and down the guy just wanted to be her friend, right? But now here's the thing, right? The guy paid for everything, paid for the plane tickets,
Mm-hmm.
everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, he's just my friend. He's just my friend. Well,
Right.
guess what? They ended up in Puerto Rico, and he got butthurt because like she didn't want to do anything with him,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the thing is, she kept accepting everything though, right? Like it was okay, right?
Right.
And I mean, I don't know, man. Like if you get a free trip out of it, like who's in the wrong, right? The person that's kind of the giving like
Yeah, for
everything
sure.
up,
right.
or is it the person that also say, hey, I'm just okay with it. I'm just okay with it,
Well,
right?
and that's why you have to actively communicate intentions and
Mm-hmm.
expectations,
Right.
because you wouldn't even be going on the trip if the expectations
What is that?
have
You're supposed to do something on that trip,
correct.
right?
If that's
Yeah.
conveyed and then
Mm-hmm.
there's rebuttal, then
Yeah.
guess what? Guess what? You're not. I'll be going solo.
Yeah.
Like. I just don't understand why it's so hard to communicate what it is that what you want,
Yeah.
what you're willing to accept, and that way it makes it so much easier. Because when you have clear objectives,
Yeah.
then there shouldn't be any confusion. There
Right.
shouldn't be any fuzziness as to, what's the end goal here.
Right. Right.
And
Well, I kind of on what you're saying too. Like, I think about like if and people are dishonest, right? Like
mm-hmm,
people are gonna like really not even share the end goal, right? They're gonna kind of lead someone to believe that there is an end goal when there really isn't,
mm-hmm,
right? But I still come back to thinking about like, hey, who's kind of in the wrong in that scenario, though, right?
right,
Like, I'm just trying to think about if I was in a scenario like that and some female was just doing all these things for me, right?
mm-hmm,
Would I have enough sense to say, hey, you know what? I'm not okay with that. You know what I mean?
right,
Even though she's sitting there maybe buying me all kinds of shit or whatever, right? I at some point, I think I mean, obviously, I would feel kind of bad inside of doing that because
mm-hmm,
I'm not being true to myself or this person, right?
right, right,
And it's like I'm just only doing it for the gain of doing that, but I wouldn't feel proud about that. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
But there's some dudes out there that would be okay with that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know where that kind of lands at in that kind of sense, but I do feel like me personally that I wouldn't be okay with that. Like I
Absolutely.
couldn't do that
Right,
for one. Like I'm
right,
a visual person, right? And if I don't like this person, I can't just sit there and go along with it,
right,
So, and I think most men are visual. You know what I mean? Like
right.
we all judge by what we see. You know what I mean? Like and I mean I know you kind of can always say, hey, see what's further in that person, but if I don't even know that person, I can't even make that decision on that. And that's just me, right? I need to like what I see. If I
Yeah,
don't like what I
absolutely.
see, I can't go any further, period. Like it's
Right.
just not gonna happen.
But it
You know
has
what
to
I mean?
be intrinsic though. Like we've become a society where it's all about the physical.
Right.
Like once you get past that and you see that the person has air for brains or can't articulate or express themselves in correct subject verb agreements, like once you start seeing all of the other missing intangibles
Mm-hmm.
and the other missing variables that makes the relationship or dating fun, I mean, and make it purposeful.
Right.
Once you start seeing that's lacking, that's when you start having all the issues that we are currently experiencing today.
Right.
And that's the thing that people don't understand is like you control the direction and the flow of where the relationship, the dating, the marriage
Mm-hmm.
can go.
That's
Like
right.
and by communicating, guess what? You're going to get to what's going to make it purposeful, what's going to make it fruitful, what is going to make it everlasting to the point where both parties will be happy
Mm-hmm.
and it will withstand the test of time.
Right. Right. No, I kind of think about this now too. When you just said that, is that could from a man's perspective, could you just be okay with it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the
Well,
answer to that, I think that most men would just say no. Like,
of
I don't
course.
think they could,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, and then, thinking about further, like talking about marriage and all that kind of stuff. Like, if somebody offered you an easy life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, let's say you didn't have to work again,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
you weren't really attracted to that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or didn't like the looks of that person,
Mm-hmm.
right? Could you just go along with it?
Right.
And I want to say, I mean, I know you really well, so I probably would say no,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, but I think there's some dudes out there that could do that. I mean,
Oh
but
yeah,
now
for
if we
sure.
flip it around, right? How many women do that?
All the time. I remember the show Flavor Flav show. Think about Flavor Flav. He looks like a gremlin.
Yeah.
And he had some of the most beautiful women on this show that were sleeping with him, and he's
Mm-hmm.
basically interviewing them to see if he's a good fit for if they're a good fit for him. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking that if you're a good fit for them,
Yeah, that's
like
right.
like they're crying because that he didn't select them. But they were looking at the point of one, financial security, but
Right.
also an opportunity to build their brand as well. Because every one of them that was a part of the Flavor of Love, they
Right.
went on to be a part of other movies, shows, created internet platforms where they leverage their name being on the show.
Right.
So that was an opportunity for them to get themselves out there.
So they got the return.
So they can get the return on investment.
Yeah, right. So they can get the
on
return.
the energy and the interaction they had with him.
So kind of like, it's almost kind of like, I mean, they had to kind of just deal with it just to kind of get through and then get the win out of it, right?
Correct.
So
that's exactly what it was.
Man, I mean, I don't know. From a dude's perspective, man, I just don't think I can do that. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like from not just for like the physical aspects of it, but like also internal. Like I wouldn't feel like a good person doing that. Like because I feel like I would be betraying this person, especially like when I've seen people like maybe be into me, you know what I mean, and give their all to me. I wouldn't even feel good about doing that. Like internally, like as a person, a human being, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to do that to another human being, right? Because I could be leading them into just a bad path, like, and I wouldn't want to have like someone be depressed or like down about anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But
I wouldn't feel good.
Most
you know?
people aren't like us though. Like most people don't care. Most men and women are predators.
Yeah.
Like they're hunting.
Yeah.
And they have the objective and the mission and the purpose of their hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it for a trophy? Is it for financial gain? Is it because I'm a bad person and I can care about hurting this person, but I'm being selfish to get what I want? Like these people have so many agendas that you're unaware of.
Yeah. But that's what's scary, right? About it, right? Like, because you don't know, right? You don't know what you're gonna get, right? And then if we go back to the, you know, we talked about this in a couple podcasts previously, where we talked about the whole swiping deal, right? Of dating, right? Swiping. You don't know the intentions of that person at the end of the day, right? And you know what? We should definitely talk about a segment on kind of like looking for those. I mean, I know we talked about red flags, right? But like looking what makes a like an I don't want to say maybe a liar, right? Look, what is the making of a liar, right? How to see past like maybe those flags that you do see. You know, what is the liar going to say to you to get what he wants, right? Maybe something like that. You know, we should talk about. So
let's do it.
All
like
right.
I said, hey, this is an ongoing topic, baby. So let's get ready for the next segment.
All right.